In this episode, stretching. When and what type is best for your workout?
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 277 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular podcast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Episode 277 is lit like a tit, and I got my bulletproof coffee here. I am raging, I am on point, and today we're talking all about stretching and flexibility and how that interacts with your training and how that is going to complement your resistance training. So make sure you share this broadcast, and you can tag people all you like, but hit that share button. It's super easy and it's super effective. And this is how the Daily Swole will continue to blow up and be as wonderful and help as many people as it has already. So if you like the show, and plus if you like what I'm doing and you like something I say, you can float some thumbs up, give a couple thumbs, give a couple of those weird, awkward Zuckerberg thumbs up, and yeah, let's spread the love. Let's spread the información. So thank you for joining me live here every day at 12 noon Eastern Time on Facebook. Thanks for watching on YouTube and listening on SoundCloud and iTunes for the podcast. Episode 277 of the Daily Mother Swole is all about stretching and training, how to stretch, what kind of stretching to do, and when to do it, and what really stretching is all about, because some of you do stretch and prep your workouts, but a lot more of you don't. And here are some of the pros and cons of different types of stretching in different, in different facets of your resistance training. So first off, warming up is very important. Warming up is essential. You need to do a general warm-up, get your heart rate up, and that's to turn on the sympathetic nervous system. That's to get your heart rate up, get your sweat rate up, pretty much get your body primed and let it know that the gain train is coming. So pretty much the warm-up is the lube. The warm-up is the lube because you're about to rape your body with all sorts of heavy steel. You're about to go to town, right? You're about to go to war. And let's just lift the veil. Let's not be, all Teletubbies about this. Let's tell it like it is. You're about to fucking go to war in the gym. Male, female, it's a battle. It's a battle. You might have fun. You might enjoy it. But you're going to the gym and you're going to your workout to do work. Do you understand what that means? It's called a workout. Stop looking at the beard. Stop looking at the beard. It's called a workout for a reason, because you're working. You're doing work. So you have to put in work, you put in effort, and you're going to get results. Yes? Yes. And I say that. You got to do the work. Nothing substitutes for the work. Genetics does not substitute for the work. Okay? Only thing that substitutes for work is more fucking work. So you got to put that work in there. So the warm-up, very important. Then before your exercise, here comes the next part. What's your next phase of your warm-up? A lot of people go right into some static stretching. Here's where that's incorrect. What a static stretch does, and a static stretch is when you're holding a stretch, like you're leaning or you're touching your toes, you're hanging there for 30 seconds, or you're doing any kind of stretch where you're holding a stretch in an elongated position in the joint for a long period of time. What a static stretch does is that it neurally inhibits muscle tissue. Muscle tissue, connective tissue, and the joint receptors, it shuts it down. So a static hold inhibits the muscle. And when you're inhibiting muscle, you are affecting its ability to contract and to respond quickly, as in resistance training. Now, is a static stretch going to hurt you? Chances are no. Is it going to affect your workout to the point where, oh my God, I am nowhere near as strong as I normally am? Probably not, or maybe not, but over the long term, you are affecting your body's ability to perform. Now, if you could do one thing and have great results, and do another thing and have possibly, or most likely, better results, wouldn't you want to choose the latter? You want to do as many things as you can to support your journey and to improve your potential for positive outcome and for progression, right? So why do anything else than what your body will physiologically respond to the best? Now, everyone's different, but this is how I see it. This is my personal experience and take on stretching and how it really does affect the body. Before your workout, you should do mostly dynamic stretching. And what dynamic stretching is, you have your general warm-up, which is your cardiovascular, get your heart rate up, get your sweat going, get your body temperature going. Things are more pliable and more able to be manipulated in warmer temperatures. That's why gum can stretch in the sun and gets all sticky and gooey. You put it in the freezer, it's like a rock. Dynamic stretching or specific stretching are stretches that take your joint through a full range of motion that are mimicking what you're doing for your workout. Let's say if I'm doing chest, I'll do some upward and downward dog. I'll open up the shoulder a lot. And then I'll do some push-ups. And I'll do some push-ups with rotations. I'll warm up the shoulder joint. And I'll do some light dumbbell work to activate my scapular depressors and my rhomboids and my middle lower traps. And I do some external rotations for my posterior deltoid. I do some more dynamic stretching and specific movements for the area that I'm training. For legs, I'll do some lunges with rotation. I'll do some deep yogi squats, heels down. I'll do some rotations, thoracic flexibility while I lock my hips in place. I'll do some different movements that will take the joint through and pretty much take that heat and that energy and that warm-up, that general warm-up, and start sending it to the area that I'm going to be focusing on. Now, just because you're doing legs doesn't mean you shouldn't warm up your upper body. Everything's connected. Just because you're doing upper body doesn't mean you shouldn't warm up your lower body to complement your upper body. But it depends on how much time you have, what exercise specifically you're doing will lead to what exactly you need to focus on, how much with your lower body or how much of your upper body. And just like Chris is saying right now on Facebook, as I get older, quote, as I get older, I'm realizing more of the importance to stretching. Abso-fucking-lutely. The older you start realizing how much pressure and how much wear and tear your joints go under over the course and compound over years and years, especially of working out and just life in general. So you do your general and your specific warm-up, but dynamic. These knowledge nukes, fallout shelter is needed. This is going to be epic coming up right now. During your workout, you can even do some stretching, but we'll call it active stretching, where you're doing maybe 2-second holds for a stretch in between the workout to keep the joint mobile, to keep the fluid going through, but not to inhibit the muscle tissue. Here's the kicker after the workout. After the workout, this is where most people fall off the wagon. This is where most people misinterpret stretching. You feel, or most people feel, that the stretching has to be done at the moment. Here's a couple reasons why stretching right after a workout I don't like. I'm not saying research doesn't say, do this. And Nick, yoga is an option right after, but here's another reason why right after a workout, we're talking right after a workout, where after resistance training, I wouldn't even necessarily recommend yoga right after a workout. Because after a workout, you have couple things. You have a lot of fatigue in the muscle, where yoga being bodyweight exercise, you're still taking the body through intense ranges of motion and different levels of stability and different rotations. After a heavy resistance training workout, you can be fatigued to the point where you could hurt yourself doing yoga. You could still hurt yourself doing yoga. You're still moving the body. Now, even after, for example, doing any kind of deep stretching, deep holds, deep even yoga style deep. I'm talking right after a workout. Let's say you finish your workout. Right after, the best thing to do, and Nick and Dominic, you're right on it, is to do foam rolling. Self-myofascial release, SMR. And here's the reason why. It doesn't mean you can't do a yoga class later, but you need to give your body some time, because when you're doing resistance training, and I want you to think about this, when there's a weight, that is called an external force. In order to lift a weight, in order to lift and overcome an external force, you have to overload it with an increased internal force. So what your body does increases force inside the muscle, inside the joint, inside the muscle bellies, inside the body, inside the tissue. You increase internal force. And when that internal force is enough and at a high enough level, it will overcome the external force and the weight will be lifted. Right after a weightlifting session, the pump, the swelling, the full, saturation of the muscle tissue, the internal tension that is bursting through the muscle, that full feeling. There's a lot of tension, there's a lot of stress inside the muscle. To go right into a static hold where there's tension yanking on the muscle, to go right into a deep stretch is too extreme. There's too much tension in the muscle and in the tendons and the joint capsules for stretching immediately right after a workout. I highly recommend that at minimum you do your foam rolling first, and then later on, After your body recovers and repairs a little bit, later on the day or the next day, you can go through your yoga stretching routine and your recovery and restorative process. So there's a couple things. Your muscles are weaker, so you still risk injury going through any kind of yoga practice. You're also putting yourself at risk doing any kind of activity after because of the tension built inside the muscle. So foam roll, self-myofascial release, SMR, foam rolling right after workout. Now, I have some episodes on how to use a foam roller, and I'm going to have to do another one again for anyone that's watching this episode more recently. But foam rolling needs to be done a certain way. You can't just roll quickly, roll quickly, roll quickly. There are certain ways to go through a foam rolling, and I'll leave that for another episode. But foam rolling is very important. What foam rolling will do, foam rolling will create this feedback system with the brain and with the spinal cord and create an inhibited environment in the muscle. It will relax the tension. It'll relax the spasmic activity in the muscle. It will also manually and mechanically help the fluid that builds up in the muscle tissue be reabsorbed by the lymphatic system and by the blood vessels and clean out. You're assisting the venous process of filtering out the blood and sending it back up to the heart to get purified. You are actually rolling the blood and rolling the fluid back through the tissue that gets pumped in. So you have a lot of blood, you have a lot of garbage and waste, you have a lot of shit that's building up inside the tissue. So foam rolling right after will help physically. First off, mentally, it'll help you relax through it. It'll help you create that neutralized, inhibited feeling and mental capacity and mental state in your muscle. And that physical pressure mechanically will create this neural inhibition that will relax the muscle tissue. And then after you do a full foam rolling, if you love it more than anything in the world, only do something like a restorative yoga. But even better, just foam roll and recover, repair, hydrate, and then later on in the day, a few hours later, or the next day, you can do your stretching routine when your body is a little bit more repaired. Because then you are saving yourself any risk from weakened stabilizers, and you're saving yourself from having too much built up tension. Now, the next day you might be sore. You might be going through some soreness. So if you like to stretch the same day, just leave a little time, but make sure you're foam rolling first. Foam roll first. If you absolutely mentally can't get past the fact that you're not stretching right after a workout, then do it, but do your foam rolling first. And then you can ease into some of the static stretching, if that makes sense. If that's, that's like a compromise we can make. But the point is, you're leaving yourself time after your workout to reduce the tension that builds up from the strength training so you can do static stretching much safer and you're not pulling and yanking at the tendons. I've found such better results by not stretching right after a workout. I used to feel so tight, like doing a heavy leg workout. My quads would be so pumped, and I'm trying to bend my knee. I'm trying to stretch. And I would feel like I'm pumped and I'm tight, and I'm yanking on it. And ever since I stopped stretching, and I'm not saying don't stretch. I never say don't stretch. I'm Papa Swolenormous over here. I love yoga, and I think everyone should do it, and I always talk about it, and you know this. But right after a workout, you should not be doing any hardcore stretching. You need to release, you need to inhibit, and that's where that massage, that self-massage will come into play with the foam rolling. Then later on, either after that, you can do a gentle flow. Later on, you could do, maybe more of a active yoga, but a few hours or several hours in between. If you work out in the morning, in the evening, do a yoga class, but separate it, leave 8, 10, 12 hours, 24 hours between that and your stretching. But give yourself some time and make sure you do your foam rolling first, and that way the internal force that's built up will be decreased. So here's what I want to say right now. Thank you so much, everyone, for the support. Thank you so much for joining me live every day at 12 noon Eastern Time on the Daily Swole. Please throw some thumbs up and share this broadcast. Please hit that share button and tag someone that needs to see some of this information in below. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Remember, 800 videos on YouTube, full exercise workouts, exercise demos, exercise breakdowns, vlogs, driving while gaining series, every episode of the Daily Swole, everything on YouTube. And also you can catch every episode on SoundCloud and iTunes. if you're new to joining this broadcast, but I'm here every day at 12 noon Eastern time. And a lot of times if I'm working out and I'm doing some kind of warm up or, randomly I will do Q&A. So make sure you turn live notifications on Facebook so you can catch those live, what I call Q and Swoles. So thank you for joining me for the most muscular podcast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. And was I wrong? Episode 277 was lit like a fucking tit. It was intense. The biceps were large and the nipples were a little extra hard. Today was awesome. The knowledge nukes were just dropping. So I hope you're all in your fallout shelter. I hope you stocked up on rice and bottled water and canned beans and canned goods, because those nukes, if you leave your house today, there is going to be some serious gaining radiation. So be careful. Be careful. Be careful. That's your service warning right there. Thank you for joining me. Peace out. See you tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time. Later.